What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. I'm your host, Lawson Turner, joined with, once again, our boy, Lance. Lance, what's good, bro?
It's a good weekend.
It's always a good weekend during football season. So, at the time of recording, the Steelers game just ended maybe 20 minutes ago. And I guess we'll start there since the game just ended. Um, it started out awful because it didn't start out awful because the first play from scrimmage was a pick six, which, we love to see that. But Gunnar Olszewski, I don't know what you were thinking. Just let the ball go out of bounds or put one leg out of bounds and then catch it. But our offense, speaking on our offense, Lance, we need to fire Matt Canada tonight. Today.
Yeah, that first half was most definitely some of the ugliest football I think I've ever watched in my entire life. But that's the AFC North,
Bro,
you know?
that's exactly what I texted you in the middle of the game. This is ugly, but it reminds me of a throwback AFC North game where sloppy offense, good defense. There were 3 or 4 fumbles in the first half. There was a pick on both sides. Like, both offenses played sloppy in the first half, and we were fortunate to hit Pickens on the 71-yard touchdown that we got. Our offense put up 12 points. Our defense put up 14.
Yep.
Matt Canada, if you survive through the bye week, I will be shocked. Fire him. Brian Leftwich is out there without a job.
You don't want him.
Yes, I do.
you,
Yes, I
You
do.
do not.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Bucks fan here.
Don't care.
You do not want him.
Don't care. I literally do not care. Like, 3rd and 1 for the game. Kenny Pickett had been 11 for 11 on 3rd and 4th and 1s in his career so far. And you run a read option? Like, in the second half, you started to incorporate the run game more. Najee had a few really nice runs in the second half. It just amazed me. Now, Jalen Warren, I love you. Because, holy hell, nothing was happening for Najee, and that's what I love about Jalen Warren so much. He doesn't get the recognition that Najee does, but, like, sometimes it looks like Najee just runs a little too stiff because he's
Yeah.
he's a bigger back, and Jalen just gets in there and goes. Now, for people on Twitter that are like, Jalen Warren should be running back 1, and I just like, stop it. It's a 2-back system, and if Matt Canada can get his shit right, all, offensively, we should have no trouble moving the ball. We did not have one play inside the Browns' 30-yard line. Like,
Yeah, and you guys won.
yes. And another thing, defensively, I do not want to see or hear anyone else bring up Myles Garrett, when it comes to him versus TJ Watt. Stop it. Stop it. I don't care if the fumble just bounced his way. Like, shut up, bro. I think this game where Myles Garrett was, did he play?
Damn.
Like, he had 1 tackle. And I got the stats right here, and it wasn't a sack. Now, was he effective in the game?
Disruptive?
He had a couple pressures that were really nice on the. It was one of the third downs late in the game where he forced Kenny to roll right, which ended up leading to a punt, which is, but I don't want to hear that discussion anymore. It's done. You're done. Like it, and I know they're going to be linked forever because the same draft class. Garrett went 1,
Uh-huh.
and TJ fell to, correct me if I'm wrong, 30. And it's
Yeah, you
like,
guys were
this is going to be hilarious. When we were drafting, you know who I wanted?
who?
Kevin King. I wanted Kevin King because I thought we needed a long, rangy corner, and thank God they took TJ instead. Oh my
Yeah.
God! Like now, I is this game different if Nick Chubb
Kevin King
stays?
is a Bucks legend.
Bucks legend for sure because he got Moss twice
Cooked.
in the NFC Championship game and on the touchdown run. Lenny stiff armed him to the ground and rolled over him. Now, is the game different if Nick Chubb plays? Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's a different game. It
Yeah, the
amazed.
Browns looked lost out there.
It's like they weren't prepared for him to miss. Now you don't plan for your bell cow running back to miss time,
Mhm.
but it looked like they were just deflated. Now they still ended up scoring that drive, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It amazed me as to how we. It just now their backup running back, that cutback for
Solid.
this bro. He had 125 yards from scrimmage. He looked like they're gonna be fine. I know they're probably gonna bring in someone else, whether that be Kareem Hunt or Leonard Fournette.
I want them to get Lenny. I want them to
Like
get Lenny. I
it
feel like Lenny would thrive in that system.
I think so too, because he's in the Nick Chubb mold. He's not Nick Chubb, but he's a big, strong power back,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those where I the defense did what I expected them to do, and which is make Deshaun Watson's life hell, and it was.
Mhm.
It was absolute hell out there, and I think this is an awesome team win, and I think now is when, all right, we got the first one under our belts. We ran into a buzzsaw in week 1. We got Vegas next week, so that'll probably, we'll see. And it just, that basically sums up my thoughts on the game. Now, for the week 2 review, let's start with the Thursday night game where it was a bludgeoning.
God.
The Eagles looked,
Yeah.
they looked awesome. I know AJ Brown was on the sideline like wanting the ball, but in games like that, I understand you want to win, but when I saw the video of him on the sideline talking to Jalen and like he, we know what it was. He was asking for the ball, and that's why
Mhm.
in the second half they were trying to get him more involved, but they were still just dominating on the run game.
Mhm.
And say what you want about Kirk Cousins,
I think.
through 2 games, I know they had costly turnovers in week 1 that probably lost the game against the Bucks. He's
Mhm.
been awesome.
I wouldn't say awesome. I would say he's been good enough to win games, but the Vikings defense has been bad enough to lose games.
I think he's been better than last year through 2 weeks.
Oh, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and he
I
and
mean,
he was
he's
good
got the
last year.
turnovers this year, but
Those are gonna come. Those are just gonna come.
yeah.
And Justin Jefferson, is I have I have no I have no words. You can't. Last year he got shut down in the Eagles game, and this game he showed out. And
Mm-hmm.
I won't be surprised if he's the first 2,000-yard receiver. I won't. It it
I
just
still think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Tyreek this year. It's crazy that we can have a possibility of two
and
two
we've never
thousand yard
had
receivers in a year.
one.
Yeah,
We've never had
it,
one,
it's it,
and those are just two guys that are just unguardable. You can't touch them.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know. Um, Even though the Vikings are 0-2, I think they're still in play for the division, but they're gonna need to start making up ground because I don't think the talent discrepancy is too. If you think Detroit is the most talented team in the division, I'll buy it, but I don't think the talent discrepancy is too large of a gap.
no,
So
no, yeah, I agree with you.
and they just they just couldn't stop the run. Plain and simple, they just couldn't stop the
No, yeah,
run.
when the Eagles are rushing,
Oh my
what is that?
god.
That's 48 times in a game,
Your
and
defensive line is going to
like
be
what?
exhausted.
Yeah,
And that was a DeAndre Swift coming out party.
yeah.
He was nice in Detroit, but oh my god, he has looked like just what the doctor ordered for the Eagles. And you can't stack
Yeah.
the
He,
box because they've got two number one receivers on the
no,
outside,
because then they're
or
gonna do.
or wherever Devontae wants to, or Devonta wants to, line up. If he wants to line up in the slot, if he wants to go outside, because you look last game he had 131 yards and a touchdown. And AJ Brown
Hmm.
only had 29 yards, but he didn't need to. Every game, one of those two were going to snap.
Yeah,
One of those two are going to snap,
it's just whose week is it?
literally. And on Thursday, it was Devonta Smith and DeAndre Swift's week. Now,
Hmm.
going to the Sunday games, let's talk about the Bengals offense finally trying to get something together. But I don't. I picked the Steelers to win the North biasly, obviously, but the Bengals have just looked. I don't know what it is. And Joe Burrow said
Uh,
he re-injured his calf. That's not good.
Joe Joe Burrow should have sat week 1 and 2 and just let that injury heal from the preseason.
I
He
agree
should
with you
not
a hundred
have.
percent.
He should have rested. There's no other way to it. It was selfish of the Bengals organization and it was selfish of Joe Burrow himself to try and go out there and play on that injured leg. It is the first 2 weeks of the season, and now you're jeopardizing the back end of the season where it's supposed to be the most important.
You started out 0-2 last year.
Yeah, like
Like, do they split if Joe Burrow doesn't play? No, I don't think so. Because you played two divisional games, which are going to be tough nosed anyway.
yeah,
So it like I don't know. I, I he the pick he threw on the goal line. It was a great play by the DB, but I'm starting to see them get their offensive identity around now. Joe Mixon had his carries. He had 13 for 59. T. Higgins popped off. He had 8 for 89 and two tubs. A lot of fantasy owners are thinking, "Where's Jamar Chase?"
me.
He had 5 for 31 this week, which it's okay if you're the second or third receiver, but if you're a number one receiver, he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
He's going to be making probably north of 25, 27 million dollars a year, and
Mm-hmm.
it, you can't Now, from the Ravens' perspective, I think that was an awesome win for them. And to go through the injuries that they have gone through the first 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
Gus Edward looked good. Zay Flowers has been awesome. Lamar, this was more of a
Yeah, that
Lamar.
kid's a stud.
This was more of a Lamar game, more efficient, no turnovers. Like there were it. I did not know how this offense would look under the new OC, but if I'm a Ravens fan,
Mm-hmm.
they have.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, and Mark Andrews came back, and it was like he never left.
Yeah.
5 for 45 and a touchdown. Like that's
Yeah.
it's one of those things where he can control the middle of the field. He's not as good as Travis Kelce, but I think he's closer to 80% of what Kelce is for the Chiefs of what he is for the Ravens.
Yeah.
And we saw.
No doubt. I think
Continue.
he's the second best tight end in the league.
I think even though Kittle has had 2 rough weeks statistically, I would have Kittle ahead of him. But
Understandable.
I'm not. Like if you just want to say receiving, I can see that because he does get the targets,
Yeah.
and he is their weapon.
Yes.
He's their big body that they go to. And with Odell going down, that sucks because you pay Odell more than what the market was saying, and 2 weeks in he goes down
Yeah.
on an ankle, and so it
Yeah.
it. I saw something on Twitter. The NFL season doesn't start until the Raiders injury report looks like a CVS receipt, and it's stacking up.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. Let's go to Detroit where I this wasn't shock of the week for me, but I thought I thought Detroit would win, and the fact that Geno had a resurgence of what he was last year. 32 for 41, 328, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It Goff played well other than the pick.
Yeah.
Other than the pick, I thought Goff was as good as he was, and even after the pick, still forcing overtime was great. David Montgomery going down with a quad is not that's not good, but I think they have Jahmyr Gibbs, but where is he? I mean, he had 7 catches for 39 yards and seven carries for 17, but like I
Yeah.
understand.
He's got to get more touches, especially when Montgomery went down.
Oh my
You can't
god,
be putting in Craig Reynolds. Who's Craig Reynolds?
it amazes me how you. I understand not wanting to burn him out too early, but it comes to a point where you took him. That was the surprise pick of the first round. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna draft Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he went what 12th.
Yeah. He was that mid round pick
So
that they
like
had.
I don't know. It amazes me that they take him and don't. I'm not saying to force feed a rookie a ball because that's how you grind him out quick. But going forward, he's got to be there. He has to be what Le'Veon was for the Steelers in the late 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's up for the task. I think he's way more talented than even they thought. But they just need to play him. Just play him, and good things will work out. Now, for Seattle, once again, it was awesome win, a win I didn't think they were going to get because I thought Aiden Hutchinson was going to be hell, and
Mm-hmm.
no sacks. Gino only got sacked once. So, and they're just, to me, they're just a young team that's going to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked what I saw week 2 more than the surprising beatdown that the Rams put on them. Now
Mm-hmm.
going to a game that if you're not a fan of these teams, you probably weren't going to watch. The Colts took on the Texans and Anthony Richardson went down, which is, you never want to see these young quarterbacks or young players go down
Mm-hmm.
because he is so electric. And
Yeah.
he,
He.
the first two, his touchdown runs were just give me the ball and go.
Yeah.
And he took the snap and went, and which led to them beating the Texans 31-20. But I will say one thing: C.J. Stroud might be that guy. 30 for
Yeah.
47,
I mean,
384. I get it, it's the Colts.
it don't
But
matter. Look who he's throwing to.
Nico Collins had 7 for 146 in the tub. Robert Woods, 6 for 74. Tank Dell, 7 for 72 in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
He just,
That's.
if they can get him some more pieces, he they might have something. I think that
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something there, but because he's a rookie, we're gonna need to see, can he keep it up. He's gonna have some bad turnovers because he's a rookie. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how he looks week to week because last game, even though in a losing effort, you threw for 380 yards and 2 touchdowns and no picks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looked good. So that's that. Now let's go to a game that you actually went to. The Bucks.
Yeah.
I when the Bucks beat the Bears 27-17, and the game. Now, I'm not a Baker fan. I think he sucks, but through 2 weeks he's proved me wrong. I think he's found a.
Yeah. He's been.
I think he's found a spot that has. They have the perfect weapons around him. They're
Mm-hmm.
not asking him to be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Rashad White 17 carries for 73. Baker 6 rushes for 17. Had a couple nice scrambles. 16 for 34. 317. Only 1 touchdown. But you don't need to light up the box score when your defense is getting pick sixes at the end of the game. And
Yes, sir.
another thing, for all the Bears fans and for all the people that said Justin Fields is going to be a dark horse MVP candidate, stop.
Now one. All right. I'm gonna do a little defending of Justin Fields here.
Okay.
Did he play bad? Yes. Is he being restricted by his absolutely atrociously dog ass offensive coordinator? Absolutely. On that pick six Shaquille Barrett got, they ran the same screenplay 3 times in a row. That when,
Oh, I
when we
was
got that
watching.
interception, that was the 3rd straight screen pass in a row. The same exact formation. They did nothing. Nothing different.
Now, I agree. I agree. I think it's a little bit of both. I think Justin Fields. There was a play in the third quarter. It was either second or third quarter. He had everyone wide open.
Yeah, and he ran right up the middle for a sack.
Yep. I don't know if he doesn't
Yep.
see. I don't
I
know
know
if he does.
exactly what play.
Yeah, you know exactly the play I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Because I'm there, my hands on my head, like, oh my god, literally everyone's open. He takes a sack, and I just, I'm sipping my beer now. It's good play, Justin.
it just now it is not as simple as I'm going to make it. Justin, why don't you snap the ball? Where's number 2? And if he's not
Yeah,
open, then go to your second read. You saw their
yeah,
first drive. He had 2 catches for, what was it, 62 yards?
yeah. He
And
finished with 6 and 104.
like they have invested in you, Justin Fields. And there were 3, 4 plays. Dudes were just wide open, and you missed them. He has dudes
Mm-hmm.
wide open in the flat, throwing as hard as he can. You don't need to, Michael Vick. You don't need to throw it as hard as you can every single play. He's throwing fastballs when he might need to throw a changeup.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to. He has a great arm. You don't have to show it off
Mm-hmm.
every play. And like, I don't know. I think the plane ride home, they're thinking, is Justin Fields like? There are questions. Is it Matt Eberflus? Is it Justin Fields?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a disconnect somewhere that we can get his head? Not saying his head's on backwards, but where we can get his head on straight. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Chicago is the place for him. I don't know
No.
whether they need to, because they drafted a tackle. They traded for Chase Claypool. They got Robert Tunyon. Like they're bringing in weapons for you, and you're still like, he's closer to being the worst quarterback in the league than he is the 16th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Through 2 weeks, it's just you just look bad.
Yeah, and whenever you finish game and Chase Claypool is your only touchdown scorer or touchdown catch, there's something wrong.
There's something
Claypool
wrong.
does not want to be in Chicago.
I don't want to be in Chicago.
I don't want to talk about Chicago.
So, so let's just move on to the next game. This to me was shock of the week. And the Chiefs beating the Jags 17-9. I
Weird
thought
game.
it was, the Chiefs are not playing good, but they still find a way late to win. Holding this Chiefs defense might be for real. Cuz they held the Jags
Yeah.
to 3 field goals. I thought it was going to be bombs away. I thought
I thought it was going to be a shootout.
I thought this game was going to look like the Chargers game last week. And I was wrong. Like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, 22 for 41 for 216. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley, you were awesome week 1. 2 for 32.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk snapped, but he snapped last year in the divisional round. And like,
Yep.
Mahomes, Andre Cisco, it was awesome that you caught the pick late, but there was one early where you could have just busted the door wide open. You dropped it. It went straight through your hands. Now, like I said, are the Chiefs playing good right now? No. There are still a lot of things
No.
still a lot of things that they can fix and tidy up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't see sloppy Chiefs games since Andy Reid got Patrick Mahomes. I was gonna say inherited, but they drafted him, and he's been awesome,
Yeah.
since taking over. But you don't normally see these sloppy games.
No.
You just don't. I mean, he still threw for 300, but I I
Yeah.
I still think they left a lot to be desired for how
Yeah.
the Jags
I mean,
offense just,
he spread the ball out.
which is it's awesome that it's awesome that when Kelsey came back, he didn't like look to force him back into the rotation.
Yeah.
And the 3rd and 6 late, where he did his Mahomes magic and just danced around and then hucked it to Sky Moore down the field because you can only
Mhm.
cover for so long to
Yeah.
ice the game. It was awesome to watch. That even if they play sloppy, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and
Mhm.
it almost doesn't matter. Now they have the Bears next week, so they'll probably roll. But we'll discuss that at a later date and time. The shock of the week the
To
third
me, the sh-
most shocking game of the week to me was the Falcons beating the Packers. I I might have been wrong about Atlanta. I knew Bijan was going to be awesome. 19 carries for 124, and then he also had 4 catches for 48. Like, oh my
yeah.
god, he's just get him the ball and watch. I
Just wait till they get Kyle Pitts involved in that offense.
They won't. I don't know I don't know what their deal is.
Yeah.
You were tied for the highest drafted tight end ever. And you had 2 catches for 15 yards.
And it's not the lack of talent either.
It's not.
And it's crazy. They just can't get him the ball for whatever reason.
He has all the measurables. He's talented as hell. And they have some young, nice pieces like Drake London, monster. Mac Hollins, we saw the preseason. It wasn't a play, but it was a preseason practice where he's monster physically, but I it's almost like they have too many young weapons and they don't know who to. You can't force feed them when you have that many young weapons. Drake London, awesome. Mac Hollins, physically a stud. Bijan, get him the ball and watch.
Mhm.
Jonnu Smith, nice tight end. Kyle Pitts, superstar talent.
Yeah.
Now, for the Packers, they blew this game. I Atlanta was down 12 entering the fourth and ended up coming back all the way and winning, which is great for Atlanta. But once again, do they have something in Jordan Love?
Um, I don't know. It's like when I think that they got something, he proves to me why they don't. But I mean, he's just managing the game, but it's like he's being too conservative.
Like, he was 14 for 25, 151, 3 TDs, no picks. Like, it's mind-boggling to me because they it there's
I
something
I think this
here.
offense will look. Oh my bad.
No, continue.
I was gonna say I think this offense is gonna look different once their receiving core gets healthy.
When Al
They get Christian
Lazard,
Walker back.
not Al Lazard, yeah,
Christian Watson. My bad. I said Walker. Christian
there you go,
Watson.
yeah, and because I like him,
I like him a lot. He's a big,
he's
tall,
he's a big body,
fast,
yeah,
physical.
but
He's got it all. Yeah.
I and once again, if Aaron Jones plays, does the game plan look different? Probably. Do they win?
Yeah.
Maybe. But Atlanta stormed back in the
Yeah.
fourth and ended up winning. So, Atlanta, you have proved me wrong through 2 weeks, and I tip my cap. I tip my cap. I thought you guys would be
I,
ass, but Bijan would be great. You've proved me wrong and are one of the few teams that are undefeated.
I'm not tipping my cap to them. They still suck. Go Bucks.
um, a game that wasn't surprising. The Bills rolled the Raiders 38-10. I Josh Allen, when he's right, that's the thing. When he's right and not turning the football over,
Yeah.
is a superstar. Like,
Yeah. He
am
just needs to take care of himself.
take care of the ball.
Why is he trying to hurdle every linebacker he sees?
He did it his rookie year to Anthony Barr and was like, "Holy shit, I got something." Like, bro, stop it. You're a more
He's
continue.
he's getting rocked. Go down, brother.
Brother man, like you're a more mobile young Big Ben, cannon of an arm.
Cannon,
Oh
absolutely.
my, like a top 3 arm in the league. And he was one of the reasons that they lost week 1. And then you look this week, 31 for 37, 274, 3 TDs. No picks. Like, we see these examples of greatness where you're in the same breath of a Mahomes or a Burrow. And it's like, it's night and day. That's all it is. It's night and day.
Mm-hmm.
One day he's awesome, future MVP. The second game, bro, you're mid. Like, there's no in between.
Literally.
He, if he can just now playing, only having 6 incompletions in a game is you can't. That's not sustainable. But if he can just take out half of his negative plays, this is a team that can probably contend for a Super Bowl. And you even look, James Cook. Now I get it. It's on the Raiders defense. Raiders defense has been ass for a decade. But 17 for
Yeah.
123 as a running back in a offense that is mainly bombs away, that's he's just getting more confident. And you look, everyone ate. Gabe Davis 6 for 92, a touchdown. Stephon 7 for 66. Dalton Kincaid, who I love,
Yes.
5 for 43. James Cook even got involved in the catching game or in the passing game, 4 for 36. Dawson Knox 3 for 10 and a touchdown. Like, it's one of those. This team is so hot and cold. Now they played the Raiders, and this was a Jimmy G stink. 16 for 24, 185, a touchdown, 2 picks. Like, with Jimmy G, this is what's gonna happen. It's just this is what's gonna happen. Devontae was Devontae, 6 for 84 and a touchdown. Love it. But you ran up against the Bills, and they were pissed, and they rolled.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs going 9 for -2, not helping.
I already knew. I didn't think he would go negative for the game.
That was the NFL rushing leader last year, by the way, who just carried the ball 9 times to get -2 yards.
It's the first time in NFL history that that the year before rushing leader had negative yards in a game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying if it's not working, keep doing it, because that's the definition of insanity. But if that's your game plan going in to try and speed the game up, or speed it up, or play keep away, you kind of gotta just run the air out of the ball.
Yeah.
And it seemed like when their offense is not meant to play trailing.
No.
It's not.
They don't got the quarterback for that.
Exactly. They have a nice quarterback, but he's not in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. Now,
Agreed.
for the real shock of the week, The Titans beating the Chargers? Are you serious? Like,
So.
Brandon Staley, I called for your job last offseason. I said they should have fired you and got Sean Payton. And we'll talk about Sean Payton later. But I thought you're a defensive-minded coach. Through 2 weeks, you haven't turned the ball over. You scored 50 points. And you're 0-2. And you cannot tell me this team doesn't have defensive talent.
No, yeah, they have loads of it.
They have it on all levels. Like, you want your pass rusher? You have Bosa. Khalil Mack is a shell of himself, but is still, Khalil Mack.
He's still Khalil Mack.
Right. Yeah. You have J.C. Jackson, really good corner. Derwin James, top 3 safety in the league.
Yeah.
When healthy. Like, and then offensively, like, I understand Tennessee's a physical team. And I understand they were missing Austin Eckler, who is their key piece to the offense.
Yeah.
But, like, my brother in Christ, you have Justin Herbert go 27 for 41, 305, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen caught 8 balls for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, like, where was your bad play? You should not. They even held Derrick Henry under. They held him right at 80 yards. And I thought if the Titans could dominate possession and pound Derrick Henry into the ground, they'd win this game.
Yeah.
They held him under 3.5 yards a carry and lost. Like, there's... Every team has a stinker. This is the one we're going to look back when it comes playoff time. Holy shit, this could have been for seeding. Games like that determine are you in or out of the wild card. And that amazed me.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Chargers.
No, it's not. And would I be shocked if they, you know what? They play the Vikings next week. If they don't beat the Vikings, could I see a head coach change coming in week 5, 6? Absolutely. If they are having a stink of a season, they could promote Kellen Moore. Like, you have a potential head coach right there. That would be. Now, Niners-Rams. Do we even need to finish the year to see who's going to win Offensive Player of the Year?
Yes.
Like, Christian McCaffrey is... I knew he would be the Swiss Army knife on top of what they have in Deebo Samuel. But 20 carries, 116 yards, 3 catches, 19 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Like, this is... And once again, Brock Purdy this is the first game that he's played and ended, which he didn't have 2 or more passing touchdowns. But once again, just do the layups. Just make layups.
Yeah, he didn't have to.
Exactly, because he has a superstar team around him. 17 for 25, that's perfect. Now, for the Rams, Puka Nacua. I don't know where he came from, bro. But do they have... There's something here. I don't know what it is. But when Cooper Kupp comes back, is he still going to... Obviously, he won't be as productive. Like, you look on Sunday. 15 catches, 147 yards. Like, where did you come from?
He's a 5th-round pick out of Washington and BYU.
And has looked like a,
Like,
a stud through 2 weeks.
it,
I
yeah.
just. Are you.
Him and Tutu Atwell,
They've looked great.
they've looked awesome. I picked Tutu up on the waiver wire.
Going to Arizona, or shifting to Arizona, I should say. I thought that the Cardinals might go 0-16. And they still might, or 0-17. Because how you're up 20-0 at half against the Giants, when at halftime of that game, I'm like, are the Giants just that bad? They were, oh my God. Through half the game, I didn't know what I was watching. And then just like
Yeah.
Atlanta, they stormed all the way back. And even though Saquon Barkley went down, which that sucks, not only for the Giants, but for the running back position, because, he's in the get running backs paid, which I'm all for running backs getting paid, because it determines, what determines that is how valuable you are to your team. And I think they should have signed Saquon and tagged Daniel Jones, but Giants went a different route.
Yeah.
This is a nice win to keep them in. Once again, I brought up playoff contention early. If you're a playoff team, you cannot lose to these Arizona Cardinals. You can't.
Yeah. And the Giants are in one of those divisions where 1 and 2 are making the playoffs, because that's Dallas and Philadelphia. Those two teams are
They're
going to be good
stamped.
enough to make
And they're
playoffs.
going to win 13, 14 games.
Yeah.
Both of them.
You got to keep up.
Because you look at other teams that are currently, once again, it's only week 2. There's no panic button. But you're 1-1, and you're in contention for, you're playing for a wild card, and because those top 2 teams, the Cowboys, that we'll get into next, and the Eagles, they have that shit on lock.
Yeah.
And let's actually transition to the Cowboys. I wasn't expecting anything less than what happened on Sunday. I thought the Dallas defense would smother Zach Wilson. And they did. They were all over him.
Mm-hmm.
And after Sunday, Monday games not being played, I was like, Micah has that argument for, oh, if someone were to come up to me and say Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the NFL, I'll listen to that argument.
Mm-hmm.
And as after the Steelers game, he's the only other player that I would listen to that argument for.
Yeah.
Because he just, stats won't show what he means for that team. And even if he gets 5% better every year that he plays, oh my God, he is a monster. And Jets, who are you gonna bring in? Because if you think Zach Wilson's the guy, you don't mortgage your future for Aaron Rodgers to win right now. So who are you bringing in? Do you want to know what would be really interesting? Call Minnesota after they lose this week. They're 0-3. Their defense is good right now. They have weapons.
Yeah.
Call Minnesota. And if you're still in win right now, because Kirk's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
I know Aaron Rodgers is talking about wanting to play if they make the playoffs. They won't. Unless they make a quarterback change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Call Minnesota. It'll probably cost you a first-round pick. But if you truly believe you are in Super Bowl contention, I make that trade. because I don't know what the defense is going to look like next
Okay.
year. I know they're awesome right now. That's all. That's all I know. I know they're awesome right now. Garrett Wilson is a star, and you have the weapons. The line is still bad, but Zach Wilson ain't it. Zach Wilson ain't it.
Yeah.
And the
You,
Cowboys
you want to hear who I'm calling?
gone.
I'm calling the New Orleans Saints, and I'm figuring what's going
Jameis.
on with Jameis Winston.
That's the other name.
Jameis Winston.
That's the other name. Call Minnesota or call New Orleans. New Orleans has 2 starting quarterbacks on their team.
Yes.
For Jameis Winston's turnover issues in the past, he's still a starting NFL quarterback, and he's. I think that New Orleans did him so dirty bringing in Derek Carr.
Yes. 100%.
Call New Orleans.
100%.
That'll be cheaper than what they would ask for Kirk, because Jameis ain't even.
100%.
Because Jameis isn't even playing.
No.
You saw tonight they were bringing in Taysom Hill. Now I understand Taysom Hill is an athlete and you can't do Taysom Hill and Jameis, but Jameis is riding the bench behind Derek Carr when he should be quarterbacking an NFL team somewhere.
Yes.
Even if it's just for this year, and maybe when Aaron Rodgers comes back, you ship him somewhere else, and then you lose the. It would probably take a 4th round pick to get Jameis. Let's say you flip him next offseason and get a 6th. I would do that because, like I said, the defense is good enough right now to win. And unless you're going to win these games 13-10 or 13-7, Zach Wilson ain't it. And you're not going to go very far until Aaron Rodgers comes back. One last note on Dallas. It's going to be hell on top of the NFC. Like, if it ends up at the end being Niners-Cowboys, that NFC Championship game might be 6-3. These defenses are out of this world. And they're in the same conference. Like, that is going to be an all. Two of these 3 teams have to play each other at some point.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Eagles, Niners. 2 of those have to play each other at some point in the playoffs.
And I think the first team that's going to be playing each other is going to be the Cowboys and Niners, because I still think the Eagles are going to win the division.
Yeah.
And I think Cowboys are going to get
They get
the
5.
49ers in the second round.
I could.
Yeah.
I could see that because whoever wins that division is going to be. They're going to be blessed. And if they get the 1 seed and get a bye, that'd be awesome. I still have questions about their head coach, but through 2 weeks. And another thing, Dan Quinn needs to be coaching somewhere. He'll if they make the playoffs. Well, my bad. When they make the playoffs, assuming Dak doesn't get hurt or Micah doesn't get hurt. If Mike McCarthy gets fired, you already have your head coach right there.
Yeah.
You already have your head coach right there. There would be little to no change going from McCarthy to Quinn. Just wouldn't be.
I wouldn't say that. I think it would be a pretty big change, and for the better.
Yeah, I think it would be for the better, but when I mean no change, I mean the defense would still be awesome. Will the offense look different?
Yeah.
Yes. But I think that there wouldn't be like the biggest gap. Like they're a good they're an awesome team right now. Do I think they could go from being an awesome to a Super Bowl bound team? I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is that I think would I be shocked if in 6 months that Dallas is the team that's representing the NFC, I wouldn't be surprised. I get it.
I would be,
It's
just
so.
because I don't trust Dallas. It's Dallas.
I was gonna say it's Dallas, so and it's only through 2 weeks, but I'm going off of what I'm seeing right now. They're awesome. Now, to a team that I just despise, the Broncos gagged another game away. And if it wasn't for a Hail Mary, they lose. I just.
Wouldn't have been close.
The Commanders stormed all the way back. Now, Russell Wilson, you were cooking early.
Yeah, in that first half, he was going nuts.
Bro, he runs like a pregnant woman wearing flip flops. Like, he's cooked. You done. Like I said, he runs like a pregnant woman wearing flip flops, Lance. Have you ever seen a pregnant woman run wearing flip flops?
No.
It ain't
No.
pretty. He's cooked. He's done. Sean Payton, I believe in you. It's time for you to have serious questions. Start asking. Because you know what happens? If they bottom out this year, this is a awesome quarterback draft class. And they can't cut Russell because they paid him an ass load.
Yeah.
But guess what? Sometimes you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and you're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations with Russell Wilson in regarding the rest of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to win at least one of these first 2 games. You had Vegas, winnable game. And then you're up 21-3 on the Commanders, which I'm not going to say anything bad about the Commanders, but they're what they are. They're an okay to sneaky good team.
I mean, 2 weeks in, they're tied for first place in their division. Toughest division in football.
Yeah. So, like, I think Sam Howell played a good game, too. 27 for 39, 299, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Clean. Brian Robinson,
Yeah.
awesome. They've got weapons galore.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of brings up another thing. We're sitting here talking about saying Russ is cooked. What's going on with that Denver defense? You can't be giving up 35 points expecting to win every game.
You can't. They go hand in hand. I don't know if they took their foot off the gas. I don't know if they thought the game. I don't know if they were playing first to 21. I don't know.
I don't
Now,
know.
I understand Russell was their leading rusher, but like, oh my god. If I'm a Denver fan, I'm pissed. You bring in Sean Payton, quarterback wizard, and you expect things to be great? No. This is just the beginning. Because they play Miami next week.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
yeah. Yikes. Yikes is right. So, they're going to need to score a minimum of 33 points to win that game. Because
Yeah, I
Miami,
can see it.
which we're going to get into next, my question was, can they play physical? And even though the score was 24-17, that game never felt close to me.
No.
It did not feel. Now,
It felt like Miami.
continue.
It felt like Miami was just kind of coasting. They didn't want to do too much because they didn't have to.
They were. You hit it right on the nail. They were up 17-3 at half, and it could have been. It could have been more in the third, but th- that blocked field goal was awesome.
That's insane.
The fact that he timed the snap to a T and blocked it to keep New England in the game, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a momentum shifting play because then New England started cooking. And another thing, I understand the refs called it short. You gotta call it the first, bro.
Give him the first down.
Give him the first.
Give him the first.
That lateral.
This entertainment, man.
I tweeted it out. I'm like
1,000 IQ.
I'm like that. If they come back to win this game, that lateral will be talked for years to come. Cause Jesus,
It still will be.
yeah, but like, oh my God, that was Now I thought Mac Jones. I still have questions because the pick he threw, where? Oh my God, man. Like, I like Mac
Yeah,
Jones.
to
I
Xavier
do.
Howard.
Yeah, but it's a long handoff to the wrong team.
Yeah.
I understand he's
He
not playing
didn't
with
do
much.
that wide receiver any favors either.
I understand he's not playing with much. They have two nice tight
Mm-hmm.
ends. They have, like, Devontae Parker was his leading receiver. 6 catches for 57 yards. Do you remember last time I heard or remember Devontae Parker being a relevant receiver in the locker room?
When he was on the Dolphins
Yes.
with Jarvis Landry.
Yeah. Like, what? Like, and they were catching passes from Ryan Tannehill. Like, I just, I thought New England could. This game had the chance to me. I thought New England could bully Miami's speed because they might be I think they're the fastest team in the NFL. They play with
Dolphins 100%.
They play with so much speed that it's almost unfair. Tyreek Hill, fastest guy in the NFL. Jalen Waddle,
Mm-hmm.
one of the fastest guys in the NFL. Raheem Mostert, one of the fastest guys in the NFL. Like, they are so fast, and I think if there's any team that can keep up offensively with Andy Reid's awesome mind, it's the Dolphins. Because Mike McDaniel he is so crafty in getting his guys out in space that
Mm-hmm.
I think offensively and defensively they've been fine. They've been great too with Vic Fangio. Now I say great. I understand they gave up an assload of points in week 1, but when they needed to get a stop, they got a stop.
Yeah.
And Jalen Ramsey could be back by December.
And we're totally overthinking this too. They're getting Jalen Ramsey back.
Yeah, and that's even if you don't think he is what he once was, he's still Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, and on the other side of the field, you got Javon Holland and Xavier Howard.
Like
You got dogs everywhere.
Jalen Phillips, awesome pass rusher too.
Yeah.
And that's just like, if I was a Dolphins fan, I'd be doing backflips.
100%. Yeah.
Now, coming down to the last game, because we already talked about the Steelers game, the other Monday night game. This is another game. I didn't feel it was close. even though the score says the Saints won by 3, 20-17.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr threw one bad ball that I saw. It was the pick.
That was a terrible
It
pick.
was a
Oh my God, that was so bad.
like, I don't know if he expected the DB that picked it to bite down, but it was another thing. He threw it almost right to him.
Yeah.
And they still won. Just, you know, all that matters, did you win the game or lose? They
Yeah.
won. And their defense shut down Miles Sanders, which I didn't think that they could. I thought there was a chance that the Saints would take away the running game. And even though I know it's through 2 weeks, and I understand the Panthers are 0-2, Bryce Young looks like he has a moxie about him. That's just cool, calm, and collected. That it doesn't matter what the score is. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna fight our asses off, and that's exactly what they did. Even though
Mm-hmm.
down 10 late, still made it come down to an onside kick.
Yeah.
And I know I brought him up last week. Rashid Shaheed might be awesome. Through 2 weeks, he had 2 giant plays to win games.
Yeah.
And they have a awesome top 3 receivers. Chris Olave, which I don't even have to say anything. That catch he made tonight, that
Oh
was
my God, that catch.
when Carr threw it up. I thought he underthrew him, and it was going to be like just a batted ball down. Just bat the ball down.
Yeah.
Not only did he bounce it, keep it up to him, he stayed focused and brought the ball in and made that phenomenal catch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we said it in week 1. If you have a great young receiving list, he's in there. He's in the class of Jamar and Chase. I said Jamar and Chase. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Chris Olave. Those young guns are there. They're mean.
Yeah.
And then you also Michael Thomas, 7 for 55. You'll take that. Rashid Shaheed,
Mm-hmm.
just mentioned him, 4 for 63. Like, they got weapons there, and it sucks seeing Jamal Williams hurt, because off the field, he is so fun to watch off the field. And he, as fun as he is to watch off the field, he plays just as nasty and physical on the field.
Yeah.
And like I said in our last week's predictions on like divisions and things of that nature, like there are 3 teams in the NFC South that are 2-0.
Go Bucks.
I think that's the division that comes down to what your record is in the division, and that's going to be fun to watch because going into the year I thought it was by far the worst division in football, and they got 3 teams that are 2-0. So it's
I'm excited. It's gonna be an exciting season.
yeah, it's a season that is interesting and a season that through 2 weeks has been awesome, and I cannot wait for week 3.
Mm-hmm.
That is all the time we have for today, guys. My name is Lawson Turner, host of the Cover 2 podcast, joined once again by our friend and co-host Lance. Any final thoughts, concerns, opinions before we sign off?
Glazer family of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So
Go ahead and pay Mike Evans. Give him a blank check.
I was gonna say, so help me God, you say go Bucks one more time.
No, I'm done with that. Just go ahead and pay Mike Evans. Get it done.
That's it.
That's it.
Just pay Mike Evans.
Pay Mike Evans.
I mean,
Blank check.
just handed it to him.
Give it to him. Anything he wants, give it to him. Key to the city. Give it to him.
Key to the city. Well, thank you guys for joining another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. We will talk to you guys in the next video.